Hey everyone, Ekman here with another video, and we have our next ST13 leader. It is the red and yellow Sabo. He's pretty interesting. He's very aggressive at times too. He's very kind of like rush based compared to the other ones, and honestly this one surprised me by kind of how much fun I had with it as well. So going into it, we have a couple things. First, if you guys like these videos, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. It does mean a lot. Two, we do have just an overview of the deck in general. We have an example deck list, and we also have some example gameplay. So we have a match from one of my live streams. If you guys want to see the entire live stream where I tested Sabo for the entirety of it, it's going to be linked in the description for YouTube members and Twitch subscribers as well. And it's honestly a lot of fun. These leaders specifically from ST13, just the way they're built and just kind of how their engines work, are really unique. They've been honestly a blast to test out and try some new things, and just honestly a really good time. So make sure to check those out if you can, and we're just going to jump on into it. So Sabo, again, we do have 3 leaders. They're all half yellow for this one, but he is a red-yellow, kind of like our other red-yellow leader. It's also Revolutionary Army, and it has this Dawn ×1 activate main once per turn. You can add one of your cost 3 or higher characters with 7k power or higher to the top of your life face up. Give up to one of your characters plus 2k power until the start of your next turn. So a bit to unpack on this one. It's 7k power or more, but that can be with Dawn, so you can make, you know, like a 5k into a 7k and then put it to the top of your life, which is really good. And then also it gives a character plus 2k power until the start of your next turn. So that constant buff is actually pretty strong. It's only characters. It can't be your leader. It'd be kind of busted if it could be your leader too, but honestly it's really flexible what you need to do. It does mean you have to kind of establish 2 different bodies on the board, but other than that, I think it's very strong. And again, like, you get to put a card into your life for more or less free, which is kind of like the busted part of the Sabo leader. So all of it's very strong, and it's kind of flexible, and that's why you kind of want to use those rush cards as well. So we're going to go over some of the cards that just benefit from this specifically. But we went over this in the Luffy video I made as well, which you guys can still check out too. But the kind of main engine for all 3 of these decks are the idea that you have these 2-cost Luffy, Sabos, and Ace, and they can play the 5-cost version of themselves off your life. So you can put that to the top of your life. So you can do some pretty tricky things where you use Sabo to put one of these 5 costs to the top of your life, and then you can play one of these 2 drops and play it for free. So of the leaders, Sabo is like one of the more flexible ones to, you know, make sure you put it to the top, and then you're able to get like the bonus benefits too as well. So these are the ones that we get from the star deck: the Luffy, Sabo, and Ace. Ace is 100% the best one for this one. It's already a 5/7. It has rush in you know, for half the game, quote unquote, since you just have to be at 2 or less life, and it's very easy to get the combo off with him. Luffy from the star deck is not as good, I think, as the rush Luffy, which we're going to look at later in the deck list, but he's fine too. These ones are, again, just fine for what it is, but Ace specifically is the one that makes the most sense, I think, with this leader, and where you get the most value with it as well. So real quick, the combo with it is that you can do something with like 5/7 Ace. I'm just going to assume you're at 2 or less life for it, but for 6 Dawn, you can use it where you play Ace, you attack 5/7, you put a Dawn underneath your Sabo, put it top of your life, and then you have a 6k swing, and then you have that Ace into your life, which again, if they hit you, you put it back into your life, or from your life to your hand, and then you can play it again. And then at 8 Dawn, you can do the combo where you use Ace effect, you attack with it, put it back into your life with Sabo, then play the 2-drop version of it, and then play it, bring it back, and then your leader's a 7k, Ace is another 7k attack. So for you know, a quote-unquote empty board, you're able to put out 3 7k attacks between Ace twice and Sabo once, and then sorry, he's an 8k attack too, and then he's a 7k too until the end of your opponent's turn. So honestly, a lot of pressure, and most decks really just have to like have an answer to it, or they get hit by this a lot. So it's a very strong combo with Sabo. And the kind of quote-unquote the weaker version is with Luffy. You need 9 Dawn for his because you need to put 1 Dawn underneath him to make him a 7k, but you can make him a 7k 5/7 Sabo effect and do the same thing with your Monkey D. Luffy 2-drop. So that's fine for that there too. And then also, if you have 10 Dawn, You can use 6 Dawn to play Luffy attack with it, 1 Dawn for Sabo, and then from there you put 2 Dawn on Luffy to play the effect, and then bang it back. So for 10 Dawn, you can do a 7k attack, an 8k attack with your leader, and then an 8k unblockable with your Luffy. So your opponent's going to know what's up. They're going to block with your stuff early, but it's still like in a meta right now where we have so many blockers, it's still pretty good. And then also the Revolution Army side for this one, I did a good amount of testing with this one. It wasn't my favorite build, but I think there's a build that exists with it. The kind of idea with all these is obviously they're 5Ks mostly, and if they are 7K or more, they get this added effect. So what you can also do is, let's say you had, turn 1 you did nothing, turn 2 you played Emporio, and then on turn 3 you could do something where you play your 5/7 ace, attack with it, use the Sabo effect, put a Dawn underneath it, and then put ace back to the top of your life. You give your Emporio the plus 2k, and then you use Emporio's activate main to play Karasu out, and then you have all these additional attacks. So something like that I think is strong. There's some pretty good combos. Only issue with it is that it's not as consistent as I've liked it based on my own testing, but I think there's definitely something there for the deck. And in general, Sabo's a lot more open-ended, especially compared to Black Yellow Luffy when it comes to deck construction, just because you can kind of do some different packages with it, which I think is really neat. So last thing we're going to talk about real quick before we go over to the deck list is just some upgraded cards. So in Expansion Booster 1, we do have this Kid and Killer, which is a 4/5k with Rush, but it becomes a 7k when attacking if your opponent has 2 or less life. So that means that it's essentially a 1 less cost copy of Ace, which is really, really good. So having just another card with Rush, and it's again a 4 cost 7k attack is very good, and then obviously has the synergies with the deck. And also the Monkey D. Luffy, which is a 5-drop 6k. I don't think it's going to be as useful as it will be in the Black Yellow Luffy, but it's just another card that works with the synergy for the deck. It's a 1k, being able to trigger it, or even just place it into your trash to get like the -2. Like there's just some good effects with it. So I think it's kind of worth mentioning a little bit. And then also this was like announced just pretty recently too, and shouts to the Nami Piece Facebook page for doing the translation for this one and the art. But it's this 5 cost Sabo. It's a 2k, which is kind of the more important thing about it too, but has an activate main once per turn. You may put the top or bottom of your life cards into your hand and give this card, this character plus 1k power for the turn. So just like a newer card. I don't know if it's going to be good for this one. I could see it being like an extra copy of Sabo, and that's also 2k for like the Black Yellow Luffy list, but it's also kind of worth mentioning here as well. So anyways, that's kind of all the overview I wanted to go over for the deck itself, and let's go to the example deck list. And here is our example build, and real quick, I can't really stress this enough. Sabo is a really open-ended leader, and I think there's a lot of different ways to build him. Most leaders, I feel like in OP06, right now at least, are kind of understood what they look like in one way or the other, but Sabo has a lot of flexibility with just kind of how open-ended his leader ability is and everything else. So just because your build looks different doesn't mean it's bad. I don't think that this is maybe even the best build for it. This was just the one that I had the most success with, and just kind of clicked with me personally. But I think, again, there's so many different ways to build this leader, so don't feel like you're pigeonholed as much with him compared to others. But this is just my example build for it as well. So real quick, the idea of this one is to be kind of more aggressive. We just kind of want to maximize the amount of rush cards that we have with our Luffy as well as our ace. So we do have like the ace and Luffy being able to get that advantage there. We are using the GARP to be able to search these cards, so it is able to find list any copy of Luffy too. So we do have our 2k promo here, which does help us there for just more 2ks into the deck. Probably the most broken card in this deck is the Kiko Nojo, which it's already a 4/6, which is very, very strong, but then also being able to, your opponent won't really want to KO it, and then you can just put it into your life for free, and then you can play it out of your life for free. It's pretty obnoxious if you're able to get it set up, so it's been very, very strong. Sakazuki is really the only deck that can get rid of it consistently without getting the on KO effect, but still your opponent's pretty much going to have to stare at this card for most of the game, which is just very strong. So Neko Mamushi is kind of like a backup version of that. The Dawn Time Sue effect for it does show up every once in a while, and we want to make it a 7k body more times anyways, so that synergy is there too, which is really, really nice. And then we also just kind of have like the Straw Hat package, just because we do want like a good amount of rush cards. So we have a couple copies of Nami. We have the Zoro we can find. We have a 2K in Luffy, a 2K in Brook, as well as the Monkey D. Luffy 5 cost and our 0 cost Bad Manners Kick Course, which kind of helps us out there too. So I think all these are very strong. I think Momo's probably one of the weaker cards for the deck. I do like Shiraya too. He gets some good synergy with how he works with gaining power on top of like giving it power with our leader effect, so he can be a really good card for this deck too. And also just a kind of a tech choice first Black Yellow Luffy, which I think is more popular playing online right now because it's the quote-unquote new deck in English, but maybe it'll wear off. But it's not a bad card in any regard either, because you can get this to you can play it, attack with it, make it a 3/5 attacking to your opponent's leader, and then just put 2 Dawn into it and then go into your life too. So the amount of cards that we get to put into our life for free with Sabo is kind of insane in a lot of ways. If you want to put more cards with trigger to go for that, you can do it. I just like the Kikunojo and the Nekomamushi just because you play them for free instead of having to like discard a card off like a Sanji blocker or something else. So that's been very strong for us. And then it's just been a lot of just, I don't know, playing out stuff, having a lot of rush cards, and just kind of going from there. So that's kind of why Zoro's actually still kind of insane, right? Because if you look at the Dawn curve and at power curve, he is essentially the same as Ace, right? Because he's 3 Dawn for a 5k. So to make him a 7k, we put 2 Dawn underneath him. So he's a 5/7 essentially in that way. And so has backup copies of Ace. I think that's very strong, and that helps very easily put him back into our life, get the heal, and your opponent really can't remove it, which is great. Which in this meta, there's a lot of removal tech right now too. So anyways, that's kind of the build for this one. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and let's go to the example game. Alright, here is our example game against Bin Bin on Sakazuki. I think this is actually probably one of our better matchups with this deck as well. This also was a bit of an older build compared to the build we have in the video. You can see the Enel, which I ended up just taking out for Zoro's as is, but we ended up taking this hand. We ended up going first, which I think we want to go second more times than not, but they are able to play the brand new and get that off, which is fine for us. Looking at what to do at 3 Dawn, I think we're just going to attach 3, go in. We want them to be at 3 or less life, so our Kikunojos and everything else can activate from our life, which is very strong against 4 life leaders like Sakazuki. Looks like they're going to be cycling the Hina, and they're attacking 5k into our leader. I think we're going to take this pretty quick because we do want to get down to 2 life. We do take another copy of Luffy. They play the Kuzan, which is a little obnoxious because we don't really have a way to get rid of it. And because of that too, and since we have 2 Luffys, I think we're just going to decide to play a Rush Luffy just to get a little bit of pressure on there and kind of force their removal as well. So we're just going to go for there, go a 5-drop, 6k, go in, and they're going to 2k out of it. We're going to do another 5k there, 1-drop to Shigi, and then it's kind of pass back. So Luffy still kind of got its value. I'm not too worried about it getting removed because I know that they're going to have to spend resources for it as well, and it got another resource out of hand. So they're going to start with a 5k into our life, and we are going to take it. We're going to see a Shiraya there, which is kind of useless in this matchup. It could be a little bit better, but they end up using the Hound Blaze to get rid of it, and then they have a 6k attack. We're going to 2k out of it with the Luffy. They're going to get the cycle of the Ice Age, play another copy of Brand New as well. All right, going from there, and then 7k into our leader. We're going to take it, find another copy of Luffy, and this is where we're at. So we are at 7 Dawn, which is just enough for our Luffy effect. We're going to attack into the Kuzan, actually, just to kind of slow down their aggression, and then we're going to be able to attack 6k into their life, and then use our leader effect to put the Luffy back in there, going back to 2. And we're kind of like even on resources just a little bit. 2 life apiece, right? They have a little bit of a stronger hand, but those brand news aren't as menacing as something else could be. They're going to cycle the Rob Lucci real quick, play the Sabo, which Sabo doesn't really affect us that much since we more bypass blockers than kind of remove them. And it looks like they're going to go 5 into leader, which I think we're going to get out of on that one real quick, and then maybe 3 Dawn on the brand new. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, they're just going to pass. Interesting. They do not want to give us the Luffy. So we are going to get Luffy anyways, though, off the 2-drop, which we had in hand. So going into there, we're going to be able to attack there real quick. A 7k. Right. It's going to get cards out of their hand as well. We're going to play our. We could go back and do the effect again. which I think we're going to do. Yeah, we are going to get like the double bounce of it. So we're going to bounce that back with the 2-drop, play the Luffy one more time, swing another unblockable attack, big attack there since we boosted our leader twice with it, and we're just going to pass. So Luffy's probably going to be hit into on this one, removed either by leader effect or it looks like Ice Age there. So Ice Age Houndblaze. Still down to 1 life for us real quick. We are a 9k leader, which is pretty strong for us too, but looks like they're going in pretty big there, going 9 into our 9. We're going to get rid of the 2-drop ace since we haven't found any 5-drops yet. And so far, so good. All right, they're going to play another copy of their 5-drop Sabo as well. They're going to pass the turn there. But not too afraid. We're down to 1 life apiece, but we get the ability to heal a little bit more often, and I think we're going to, I don't know, we do have the Momo and Kikonojo play, which Kikonojo being able to get into late game is pretty nice for us too. They're going to 2k out of this. We are going to play the Momo Kikonojo. We are 1 Dawn short from being able to put the Momo back into life, which unfortunately is 11 Dawn play, and we can only play with 10, but that's still not too bad for us. If Mobo is able to survive, we're able to boost it next turn, or just have another blocker, which is good, which is kind of like why I like having this. So they're pretty low on resources. They have 1 card left in life and 4 in hand. They have almost full board, but they really have to spend resources to kind of pump it up. And because of just having 2 cards in my life and having a blocker and honestly some good amount of counter in there too, just a little bit intimidating for them. So definitely gonna take the think there, see what they're thinking of. They just don't really have a lot, right? This is where sometimes Sakazuki gets out of resources, and kind of why I feel like Sabo's a bit of ahead, because we just keep healing, and which also bypasses their removal, and then we just keep hitting them too, right? Like just having Luffy attack 7k or even 8k unblockable every turn, they have to use resources to get out of that, and it's a little bit tough for Sakazuki specifically, but they're going to be attacking, maybe, thinking about it, maybe attack with leader, thinking about it. If they attack with leader 5k, I'll definitely just block with my Momo 6k, so we'll see what they decide from there. But yeah, definitely in the think tank. But ends up playing the Moria for 8, and they have they're just getting Rebecca, so I don't think they have Helmeppo, Rob Lucci, otherwise we would be losing our Momo. Alright, just getting some card draw there. We have the Hina though, and another copy of Houndblaze, so that's pretty good. But they're just going to pass. They do not want to get the Kikonojo on the board, which is totally fine because that could give us the access to win. Just an awkward play in a lot of regards. So we're just going to end up going to play Enel. I know that in my list that I showed you guys, I'm playing Zoro, but just pretend it's Zoro because it's going to be... It's worse Zoro in this situation where we just keep putting it to the top of our deck. Spending 7 Dawn, Zoro could instead be a 9k, I believe. So instead we have these 7k swings, and we keep putting a Nell in there. So the idea for a Nell is that, it can't get removed as easy, but I think Zoro is just more flexible in a lot of ways, and it's more powerful and easier to get to 7 Dawn, right? Like it's a 5 Dawn 7k rush, and compared to a Nell, which is a 7 Dawn 7k rush, so just makes a lot more of a difference there. But we are back at 3 life, but now the top of it, and Kikonojo in the middle, and 1 unknown life as well. They're going to swing 5 into there. We're actually going to get out of this, I think, real quick. Yeah, we end up just getting out of it. All right, they're going to swing 5k. We end up just going to take this. I don't want to give them like too many easy attacks, just so we can get out of it pretty kind of easily too, but we are thinking about it. All right, 9k there. We do take that one. They got Great Eruption, which is a little bit scary. If they have another copy of Houndblaze or Ama, it will be able to bypass the effect. But looks like they're playing another Gecko, which means they do not have it, which is good news for me. They're just going to play a Rob Lucci and probably, another copy of, Tashigi or brand new. Get some card cycle, but they've got only 2 cards in hand, and that does help us a lot more for our numbers. So they do get the removal of the Kikonojo, so we're back at 2 life, and they're going to pass it back. So Again, we have this Anel, which could be a Zoro. Zoro will be better in this situation where we're just pretty much going to be doing the same thing. We're going to attack 7, put 2 Dawn into our leader, rather, make it a 7k, and attack on in. 5 to 7, they're going to block with their Sabo. Makes sense, just so they don't lose to Rush Luffy. We're going to go 8 into leader. We're going to use the effect again to put that back to the top of our life. And we're at 3 life. They've got a pretty wide board, but being able to do 4 damage to us, especially since we are already presenting, like 6k worth of counter, I'm not too afraid. So 6 goes in, we're going to 2k out, we're going to take that damage for the 9k. Another 9k, we're going to take that in. We get the Rush Luffy, so we're in business no matter what now. Yeah, because we were able to make this 11k very easily and bypass any blockers they might have, like that Borsalino or that Rebecca, which feels really, really nice. Yeah, this Rush Luffy's just going to win us the game in its own way. So, other than that, I think we're in a good spot. We're just going to see them hit 6k. Sure, we're going to take it. We have a blocker, and this is it. So, we have our Luffy here. Going to be attacking with a big old 11k. Can't be blocked by that Borso or that Rebecca. And that's going to be it. So there is the example game for you guys. Honestly, I think this deck is a lot of fun. Just the way it works is really cool, and it's kind of obnoxious. You don't die as easy as you think you would, and you get a lot of just rush attacks, and it's hard for your opponent to kind of interact sometimes, which is why that's like Sakazuki specifically doesn't really get that full potential from the removals either. So anyways, that is the example game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you want to see more matches, make sure to check out my live stream re-uploads for YouTube members and Twitch subscribers, and that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys again, and I'll catch you all next time.